We're back with Krishnabook. Now we're in chapter 88. It's not many chapters left. So this has, the deliverance of Lord Śiva. Or Lord Śiva saved from Vṛkāsura, as is the title directly in the Bhagavatam. So, as usual, we'll just jump right into it. As a great devotee of Krishna, King Parikshit was already liberated, but for clarification he was asking various questions of Shukadeva Goswami. In the previous chapter, King Parikshit's question was, what is the ultimate goal of the Vedas? And Shukadeva Goswami explained the matter, giving authoritative descriptions from the disciplic succession from Sanandana down to Narayana Rishi, Narada, Vyasadeva, and then Shukadeva himself. Right, so we heard a little bit about that yesterday, a couple of days ago, right? The prayers of personified Vedas.
Wasn't it yesterday?
No, was it yesterday? Oh yeah, that's good. So, we just go a little bit down. So Maharaj Parikshit's question is very intelligent. The two classes of devotees, namely the devotees of Lord Śiva and the devotees of Lord Vishnu, are always in disagreement. Even today in India, these two classes of devotees still criticize each other, and especially in South India, the followers of Ramanujacharya and the followers of Shankaracharya hold occasional meetings for understanding the Vedic conclusion. Generally, the followers of Ramanujacharya come out victorious in such meetings, so Parikshit Maharaj wanted to clarify the situation by asking this question of Shukadeva Goswami. That Lord Śiva lives as a poor man, all of his devotees appear very opulent, whereas Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu is always opulent, and yet his devotees appear poverty-stricken, is a situation which appears contradictory and puzzling to a discriminating person. So that was the question. Why are, Lord Śiva is poor, but the followers of Lord Śiva are rich? And Lord Krishna is rich, and why is his followers poor? Right? It's a contradiction. So actually Krishna, he will explain everything, and he will explain it also through a couple of stories. You like to read on, Prabhu?
Yes.
Replying to King Parikshit's inquiry.
Replying to King Parikshit's inquiry, Shukadeva Goswami said that Lord Śiva is the master of the material energy. The material energy is represented by Goddess Durga, and because Lord Śiva happens to be her husband, Goddess Durga is completely under his subjugation. Thus, Lord Śiva is understood to be the master of the material energy. The material energy is manifested in three qualities, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. Therefore, Lord Śiva is the master of these three qualities. Although he is in association with these qualities for the benefit of the conditioned souls, Lord Śiva is their director and is not affected. In other words, although the conditioned soul is affected by the three qualities, Lord Śiva, being their master, is not.
Yeah. You have any comments to that, or you can just read on?
No, it's just laying down how it is, the tattva or something.
Yeah. So let's see how we can look at this.
Also saying that he's the master of the material world energy.
Yeah.
And is not affected by also the modes or the...
Yeah, so in that way, Lord Śiva is similar to... he is actually, God. But he is God when he's come in contact with mode of ignorance. So that's why I have a very special features. He's very peculiar, Lord Śiva.
All right.
Yeah, so from the statement of Shukadeva Goswami, we can understand that the effects of worshipping different demigods are not, as some less intelligent persons suppose, the same as the effects of worshipping Lord Vishnu. Shukadeva Goswami clearly states that by worshipping Lord Śiva one achieves one reward, whereas by worshipping Lord Vishnu one achieves a different reward. Yeah, so that's also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. He says that many places, Krishna. He actually puts down worshippers of demigods and he says, just worship me. Hami Deva Devanam. He says, I am the God of all the gods. So now Prabhupada is getting into a little bit of Sankhya philosophy. So then, we can go down and see what Shukadeva Goswami has to say about that. Shukadeva Goswami continued, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari is transcendental to three qualities of material nature. So, inside all these three qualities of material nature, you have the whole Sankhya, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, all the senses. But God is, transcendental to that. He's beyond that. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that anyone who surrenders unto him surpasses the control of three qualities of material nature. This verse, Sagunan Samatitya Brahma Bhoyaya Kalpate. Therefore, since Hari's devotees are transcendental to the control of three material qualities, certainly he himself is transcendental. Makes sense, no?
Yeah.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is therefore stated that Hari or Krishna is the original Supreme Personality. You see what Prabhupada did there? Hari or Krishna. Hari Krishna, right? There are two kinds of prakritis or potencies, namely the internal potency and the external potency, and Krishna is the overlord of both. He is Sarvadrik, or the overseer of all the actions of the internal and external potencies, and he is also described as Upadrashta, the supreme advisor. It also means the overseer also, in another thing, because, but you can say supervisor, yeah? It also has something to do with vision, because the drashta also means to see, or it's connected to the word drik. But upadrashta, it means he is the one who is overseeing things, or supervising, the leader. Yeah, because he is the supreme advisor, he is above all the demigods, who merely follows the directions of the supreme advisor. As such, if one directly follows the instructions of the Supreme Lord as inculcated, have you heard that word before?
Inculcated? No,
that was a nice word. You can find out what it means, and I can read on. As inculcated in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, then one gradually becomes nirguna, or above the interactions of material qualities. To be nirguna means to be bereft of material opulences, because as we have explained, material opulence means an increase. Huh?
No, I just listened to that.
Yeah.
This means instill.
It means what?
Instill.
Instill. Oh, yeah, okay.
Implant, fix, ingrain, press, imprint.
I see, yeah. Super. Yeah, you want to read a little bit on?
Yeah. Where did you leave?
Yeah, I have to find that. Yeah, you can continue where it says Shukadev Goswami in answering Parikshit Maharaj. Yeah.
Shukadev Goswami in answering Parikshit Maharaj's question went on to cite a historical instance regarding Parikshit Maharaj's grandfather, King Yudhisthira. As he said after finishing the Ashwamedha sacrifice in a great sacrificial arena, King Yudhisthira, in the presence of great authorities, inquired from Lord Krishna on that very same point. How is it that devotees of Lord Śiva become materially opulent, whereas the devotees of Lord Vishnu do not? Shukadev Goswami specifically referred to King Yudhisthira as your grandfather, so that Maharaj Parikshit would be encouraged to think that he was related to Krishna and that his grandfathers were intimately connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although by nature Krishna is always very satisfied, when Maharaj Yudhisthira asked this question, the Lord became even more satisfied, because this question and its answer would bear a great meaning for the entire Krishna-conscious society. Whenever Lord Krishna speaks about something to a specific devotee, it's meant not only for that devotee, but for all devotees, and indeed for the entire human society. Instructions by the Supreme Personality of Godhead are important even to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods. And if one does not take advantage of the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descends within this world for the benefit of all living entities, is certainly very unfortunate. Lord Krishna answered the question of Maharaj Yudhisthira as follows. If I especially favor a devotee and especially wish to care for him, the first thing I do is take away his riches. When a devotee becomes penniless, pauper, or is put into a comparatively poverty-stricken position, his relatives and family members no longer take interest in him, and in most cases they give up their connection with him. The devotee then becomes doubly unhappy.
Doubly unhappy.
Doubly unhappy. First of all, the devotee becomes unhappy because his riches have been taken away by Krishna, and he is made even more unhappy when his relatives desert him because of his poverty. We should note, however, that when the devotee falls into a miserable condition in this way, this is not due to past impious activities known as karma phala. The poverty of a devotee is a creation of the personality of God.
Okay, let's just dwell on that. I need to digest a little bit.
Alright.
So let's see. Oh, I lost this text there. Let's see. Sorry. So karma phala. Okay, karma phala. Phala means fruit, right? So it's a fruit. It's a result of karma. So what is we just read? Krishna is Hari. Hari means to take away.
He says the first thing he does to the devotee when he especially favors them is to take away their riches.
Yeah.
And then usually the family will leave them, relatives don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah, so it becomes like antisocial outcast. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So of course then you have some who are devotees who are not antisocial outcasts, like the Pandavas. I mean, they are the kings. They are the most social. So you have all kinds of situations. It's not one sided. So you see, they are the most social in the whole world. The king, the great Kshatriya, he is the best example of social behavior, right? So that's also possible. Yeah, a devotee can be anything really. Yeah, but then actually Prabhupada is giving the balance here. He says similarly, when the devotee becomes material opulent, that is also not due to his pious activities. Did you get that? It's not due to his pious activities. It's because of Krishna himself. He just wants it to be like that. That's amazing. Because often we think, that the person is rich because he's been so pious before. And it's true for a materialist, but for a devotee, no. In either case, in either case, whether the devotee becomes poorer or richer, the arrangement is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This arrangement is especially made by Krishna for his devotee just to make him completely dependent upon him and to free him from all material obligations. He can then concentrate his energies, mind and body, everything for the service of Lord. And that is pure devotional service. Jai. Yep. Any comments?
I was going to think about the example of the Bali Maharaj.
Yeah, I was exactly thinking about that.
Yeah.
Then he was free to do his bhajan. Now he's no longer the king, so he doesn't have so much office work. He can just sit and chant. And even he was thrown out. He was bound up and thrown down to the netherworlds. But then, Lord followed him there and became his doorkeeper.
It's not very precarious situation for a pure devotee, even the lowest hell.
No, I mean, if Krishna is with you, then how bad can it be? So
simply in the word, that hell. We think that there this and that situation there.
Yeah, so actually Prabhupada says here, it may be questioned why a devotee is put into such tribulation by the personality of Godhead. The answer is that this kind of arrangement by the Lord is just like a father's sometimes being unkind to his sons. Because the devotee is a surrendered soul and is taken charge of by the Supreme Lord, whatever condition of life the Lord puts him in, whether one of distress or of happiness, it is to be understood that behind this arrangement is a large plan, designed by the personality of Godhead. It's very nicely said, yeah? Designed. He's designed it. And and Prabhupada even gives the example here of the Pandavas and Bhishma. For example, Lord Krishna put the Pandavas into a distress condition so acute that even grandfather Bhishma could not comprehend how such distress could occur. He lamented that although the whole Pandava family was headed by King Yudhishthir, the most pious king, and protected by two great warriors, Bhima and Arjuna, and although above all the Pandavas were all intimate friends and relatives of Lord Krishna, they still had to undergo such tribulations. Later, however, it was proved that this was planned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as a part of his great mission to annihilate the miscreants and protect the devotees. Because then, we have a great story, and then the Pandavas are the heroes of that story. Yeah. Like in any good action movie, especially from Hollywood, you have, the hero, he's even being beaten, and, it looks like he's down. He's suffering a lot, and then, everybody's rooting for him, and then, finally he gets up on his feet, and he takes the enemy down. Without this drama, there wouldn't be any interesting. Yeah, so then Prabhupada says, another question may be raised. What is the difference between a devotee and a common man, since both are put into different kinds of happy and distressful conditions? The devotee by the arrangement of the personality of Godhead, and the common man as a result of his past deeds. How is the devotee any better than the ordinary karmi? So then karmi is then the person who is after karma or fruitive results. Yeah. The answer is that the karmis and the devotees are not on the same level. In whatever condition of life the karmi may be, he continues in the cycle of birth and death, because the seed of karma or fruitive activity is there, and it fructifies whenever there is an opportunity. By the law of karma, a common man is perpetually engaged in repeated birth and death. whereas a devotee's distress and happiness, not being under the laws of karma, are part of a temporary arrangement by Supreme Lord which does not entangle the devotee. Such an arrangement is made by the Lord only to serve a temporary purpose. Isn't that amazing?
Completely amazing.
Yeah. So, if you have a great deal of faith, you can understand that and believe that, it's actually arranged by Lord. It's not actually some old karma. Yeah?
I was just going to touch on that, the devotee is, he's really always, even if it's a good situation or bad situation, he's always thinking, about it's the Lord's arrangement, and he's actually very happy like this.
Exactly. So I'll scroll a little down. Here another question may be raised. If the Supreme Lord is all-powerful, why should he try to reform his devotee by putting him in distress? Okay, so the answer is that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead puts his devotees in distress, it is not without purpose. Sometimes the purpose is that in distress, a devotee's feelings of attachment to Krishna are magnified.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess the devotee will start thinking, oh, I'm suffering because I'm straying away from Krishna, and then we'll just start thinking about Krishna in the head and doing bhajan,
Exactly.
becoming completely detached from material affairs.
Yeah, and Prabhupada gives the example of when Krishna, before leaving the capital of Pandavas for his home, he asked Kunti Devi for permission to leave, and then she said, "My dear Krishna, in our distress you were always present with us. Now, because we have been elevated to a royal position, you are leaving us. I would therefore prefer to live in distress than to lose you." Yeah, so when the devotee is put into a situation of distress, his devotional activities are accelerated. Therefore, to show special favor to a devotee, the Lord sometimes put him into distress. Yeah, okay, so that's clear now. Besides that, it is stated that the sweetness of happiness is sweeter to those who have tasted bitterness. So actually, that's why in Asian cooking they have this thing that you should have something bitter in the beginning, or at least eat a few bitter items, and after, in the end, it's the sweets. Yeah, because then you can enjoy the sweets more because you've been through a whole journey of different tastes that were counter to that. Yeah. So okay. So yeah.
If I may.
Yeah.
If I may ask about Queen Kunti's prayers.
Yeah.
Because was she already starting to glorify the love and separation from Krishna, or was she something else?
Well, she was just always ecstatic, actually, in love of Krishna.
Yes,
she's one of the she's one of the saintly ladies. It's like I think it's 7 or 5 saintly ladies. She's one of them. So because she was having these nice prayers, it's called prayers of Queen Kunti. They are there in the Mahabharata and also in Bhagavatam. She says, Bhavato darshanam yachat apunar bhava darshanam. She says, give me by giving me all this distress, vipada bhashashvat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yachat apunar bhava darshan. She says vipada. Vipad means troubles. Pad means to step, and vipad means like a dangerous step. So just give me all these dangerous things or distresses, because then I can always remember you, and because of remembering you, I will always be liberated. She actually says that. Then I will have your darshan. Yeah, she says.
Really good.
Yeah, so again, Prabhupada, he doubles down and says, when a devotee is thus put into so-called miserable conditions and bereft of riches and family, he tries to revive his original position of material opulence. But although he tries again and again, Krishna again and again takes away all his resources. Thus he finally becomes disappointed in material activities, and in that stage of frustration in all endeavors, he can fully surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such persons are advised by the Lord from within to associate with devotees. Usually here, you're reading in a book or something. No, here is from within the heart. I actually just want to say this, Prabhupada sometimes use the word so-called. So this is also, it's a little tongue-in-cheek, I mean, so-called miserable conditions. Because actually, for one who is elevated to a spiritual platform, there are no miserable conditions, really. because one doesn't identify with that at all. It's like, say a person is like a very rich person. Sometimes rich person, they can drive with their sports car, right? And they are so wealthy, and the sports car is so good that they can crash a little bit, here and there. But it's just enjoyment for them. And they're not scared because the sports car is just so good. It can take everything, can take a lot of beating. And it looks like hell when they're finished with their joyride. But then they just don't mind. They just go and take another sports car, And in the same way, devotees, they may, whatever happens, in their life, they can take it because they are so rich. I mean, was it a good example? Yeah, anyway, you can understand what I mean. Yeah. So by associating with devotees, they naturally become inclined to render service to the personality of Godhead, and they immediately get all facilities from the Lord to advance in Krishna consciousness. The non-devotees, however, are very careful about preserving their material condition of life. And then Prabhupada again gives a kick to the demigod worshippers. He says, therefore, generally, such non-devotees do not come to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but worship Lord Shiva or other demigods for immediate material profit. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, therefore, Kankshataha karmanam siddhim yajanta iya devata. The karmis, in order to achieve success within this material world, worship the various demigods. It is also stated by Lord Krishna that those who worship the demigods are not mature in their intelligence. The devotees of the Supreme Personality of God, therefore, because of their strong attachment for him, do not foolishly go to the demigods. Okay, so actually I think even we didn't start with the story yet. There is supposed to be a story here. So if it's okay, now we got the background, philosophy. Let's just go straight into the story. I think actually it's going to be in the very end there. Yes, here we are.
Quite short, isn't it?
Yeah. As for the benedictions given by demigods like Lord Shiva, there is the following historical incident cited by great sages. Yeah. Once Lord Shiva, after giving a benediction to a demon named Vṛkāsura, the son of Shakuni, was himself entrapped in a very dangerous position. Vṛkāsura was searching after a benediction and trying to decide which of the three presiding deities to worship in order to get it. In the meantime, he happened to meet the great sage Narada and consulted with him as to whom he should approach to achieve quick results from his austerity. He inquired, out of the three deities, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, who is most quickly satisfied? Narada could understand the plan of the demon, and he advised him, you had better worship Lord Shiva, then you will quickly get the desired result. Lord Shiva is very quickly satisfied and very quickly dissatisfied also. So you just try to satisfy Lord Shiva. So then, after receiving instructions from Narada, the demon Vṛkāsura went to Kedaranath. That's, one of the towns of Lord Shiva. The pilgrimage site of Kedaranath still exists near Kashmir. Oh, now YouTube is complaining about, a bad... Oh, I'm still going on the internal, I need to put my own hotspot. Again, I forgot that. Let's hope this transmission will not terminate. Hare Krishna. Okay, anyway, I'll read on. Yeah, so Kedaranath is for the devotees of Lord Shiva. Yeah. Okay, so then I read on. Yeah, so in the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that the worshippers of demigods have lost their intelligence. As revealed later in this chapter, Vṛkāsura wanted to satisfy Lord Shiva for a third-class materialistic objective, which was temporary and without real benefit. Yeah, so like that. So he did, and then his sacrifice. So he continued his sacrifice for 6 days. He was unable to personally see Lord Shiva, even though he did very good tapasya. So now we'll see, what actually Vṛkāsura went on to do. Let's see. Strength on the Wi-Fi. Yeah. So anyway, so then he wanted to see him face to face and ask him for a benediction. So here's another contrast between demons and devotees. A devotee is confident that whatever he offers to a deity in full devotional service is accepted by Lord, but the demon wants to see his worshipable deity face to face so that he can directly take the benediction. So in other words, devotees are okay if they don't see Krishna or God. They still believe in him. Okay. So so what did Vṛkāsura do? So on the 7th day, the demon Vṛkāsura decided. What did he decide to do? that he should cut off his head and offer it to satisfy Lord Shiva. Thus he took a bath in a nearby lake, and without drying his body and hair, he prepared to cut off his head. There seems to be some kind of thing that you shouldn't dry your hair or something. If you're going to do a sacrifice of a body, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
maybe it's more clean. But if you take a towel, it becomes contaminated again. I don't know. So anyway, so according to the Vedic system, an animal to be offered as a sacrifice has to be bathed first, and while the animal is wet, it is sacrificed. When the demon was thus preparing to cut off his head, Lord Shiva became very compassionate. This compassion is a symptom of the quality of goodness. Lord Shiva is called Trilinga, a mixture of the three material qualities. Well, that was new to me. I thought Lord Shiva was just representing mode of ignorance, but he has all the three. Yeah. So therefore, his manifestation of the nature of compassion is a sign of the quality of goodness. This compassion, however, is present in every living entity. So anyway, so then therefore when Lord Shiva appeared from the fire to check the demon from suicide, so he had made a fire, where he wanted to sacrifice his head. So when he appeared from the fire to check the demon from suicide, it was not done as a very great favor to him. Lord Shiva's touch saved the demon from committing suicide. His bodily injuries immediately healed, and his body became as it was before. He had already started cutting, actually. So he saved the life of that demon, of course. Then Lord Shiva told the demon, "My dear Vṛkāsura, you do not need to cut off your head. You may ask for me any benediction you like, and I shall fulfill your desire. I do not know why you wanted to cut off your head to satisfy me. I become satisfied even by an offering of a little water." So, when the demon was offered this facility by Lord Shiva, he asked for a fearful and abominable benediction. Now just hear what he asked for. The demon was very sinful, and sinful persons do not know what sort of benediction should be asked from the deity. Therefore he asked Lord Shiva to bless him with such power that as soon as he would touch anyone's head, it would immediately crack and the man would die. The demons are described in the Bhagavad Gita as duskritis, or miscreants. Kriti means meritorious, but when du is added, it means abominable. So this du is always negative. Dushasan, Duryodhan, it's all like demons or bad spirited people. Durmada means to have a bad mind. Yeah. So du basically means bad or abominable. Yeah. So instead of surrendering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Duskritis worship different demigods to derive abominable material benefits. Although the Duskritis have brain power and merit, their merit and brain power are used for abominable activities. So does it look like sometimes happening in our world? Somebody is using their brain cells to create a catastrophe. Yeah, Prabhupada says here now, sometimes, for example, a materialistic scientist invent a little weapon. The scientific research for such an invention certainly requires a very good brain, but instead of inventing something beneficial to human society, they invent something to accelerate death, which is already assured to every man. They cannot show their meritorious power by inventing something which can save man from death. Instead, they invent weapons which accelerate the process of death. Similarly, Vṛkāsura, instead of asking Lord Shiva for something beneficial to human society, asked for something very dangerous to human society. Okay, so would you like to read on, Prabhu, from Vāyat Shukadeva Goswami?
I cannot follow you for some reason.
Okay.
Where are you reading?
Now, if you see on the YouTube, I have the text on the top of the screen. While Shukadeva Goswami was narrating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was narrating the history of Vṛkāsura. He addressed Maharaj Parikshit as Bharat, referring to King Parikshit's birth in a family of devotees. Maharaj Parikshit was saved by Lord Krishna while in his mother's womb. Later, he could have asked Lord Krishna to save him again from the curse of the Brahmana, but he did not do so. The demon, however, wanted to become immortal by killing everyone with the touch of his hand. Lord Shiva could understand this, but because he had promised, he gave him the benediction. The demon, however, being very sinful, immediately decided that he would use the benediction to kill Lord Shiva and take away Gauri Parvati for his personal enjoyment. He immediately decided to take his hand on the head of Lord Shiva. Thus, Lord Shiva was put into an awkward position because he was endangered by his own benediction to a demon. This is an instance of a materialistic devotee misusing the power derived from the demigods.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, and then?
Without further deliberation, the demon Vṛkāsura approached Śiva to place his hand on Lord Shiva's head. Lord Shiva was so afraid of him that his body trembled, and he fled from the land to the sky, from the sky to the other planets until he reached the limits of the universe. Above the higher planetary system, Lord Shiva fled from one place to another, but the demon Vṛkāsura continued to chase him. Somehow, I don't know. The predominating deities of the planet, such as Brahma, Indra, and Chandra, could not find any way to save Lord Shiva from impending danger. Wherever Lord Shiva went, he remained silent.
Gosh.
At last, Lord Shiva approached Lord Vishnu, who is situated within this universe on the planet known as Shvetadvipa. Shvetadvipa is the local Vaikuntha planet, beyond the jurisdiction of the influence of the external energy. Lord Vishnu, in his all-pervasive feature, remains everywhere, but wherever he remains personally is the Vaikuntha atmosphere. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that the Lord remains within the heart of all living entities. As such, the Lord remains within the heart of many low-born living entities. But that does not mean he is low-born. Wherever he remains, he is transformed into a Vaikuntha. So the planet within this universe, known as Shvetadvipa, is also Vaikuntha Loka. It is said in the Shastras that residential quarters within the forest are in the mode of goodness. Residential quarters in big cities and towns and villages are in the mode of passion. And residential quarters in an atmosphere wherein indulgence in the four sinful activities of illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling predominates are in the mode of ignorance. But residential quarters in a temple of Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, are in Vaikuntha. It doesn't matter where the temple is situated. The temple itself, wherever it may be, is Vaikuntha. Similarly, the Shvetadvipa planet, although within the material jurisdiction, is Vaikuntha.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So he said that we have a Vishnu planet, also inside this material world, and that's called Shvetadvipa. And Shveta means, white. So it's called white because it has the milk ocean there. So Dvipa means island, actually.
Oh.
So sometimes the planets are called islands. So then the idea is that the whole universe is like water, and then you have islands in the water.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So so then Lord Shiva finally entered Shvetadvipa Vaikuntha, and then let's see what happened there.
He offered his respectful obeisances unto Vṛkāsura.
Okay. So there it said actually, Lord Narayan is celebrated as a lover of his devotees. And as soon as he understood that Lord Shiva was in great danger, he appeared as a brahmachari and personally approached Lord Shiva to receive him from a distant place. The Lord appeared as a perfect brahmachari with a belt around his waist, a sacred thread, a deerskin, a brahmachari stick, and Rodra beads. So that's the special beads, different from tulasi beads. They are used by the devotees of Lord Shiva. Dressed as a brahmachari, Lord Narayan stood before Lord Shiva. The shining effulgence emanating from his body attracted not only Lord Shiva but also the demon Vṛkāsura. Lord Narayan, So Shiva was there in Vṛkāsura also. So Lord Narayan offered his respects and obeisances unto Vṛkāsura just to attract his sympathy and attention. Thus stopping the demon, the Lord addressed him as follows. Okay, I'll try and talk now in the voice of Lord Narayan. So you heard about Nara, Narayan, Rishi? So these are two brahmacharis. As ascetics. So that's the incarnation of Lord Vishnu and Arjuna, actually. Or Krishna and Arjuna. So now the Lord is saying, my dear son of Shakuni, you appear very tired, as if coming from a very distant place. What is your purpose? Why have you come so far? I see that you are fatigued, so I request you to take a little rest. You should not unnecessarily tire your body. Everyone greatly values his body, because only with the body can one fulfill all the desires of one's mind. We should not therefore unnecessarily give trouble to the body. So the brahmachari addressed Vṛkāsura as the son of Shakuni, just to convince him that he was known to his father Shakuni. Vṛkāsura then took the brahmachari to be someone known to his family. And therefore the brahmachari's sympathetic words appealed to him. Before the demon could argue that he had no time to take rest, the Lord informed him about the importance of the body, and the demon was convinced. Any man, especially a demon, takes his body to be very important. Thus Vṛkāsura became convinced about the importance of his body. So that's a big blow to a lot of us. I mean, to all of us, really. Okay. So
it's a good human body is pretty good. So he's actually always right, when he's speaking like this. But he has a specific purpose, to make him particularly.
Yeah, that's the point. So then, just to pacify the demon, the brahmachari told him, "My dear Lord, if you think that you can disclose the mission for which you have taken the trouble to come here, maybe I should be able to help you so that your purpose will be easily served." So indirectly, the Lord informed him that because the Lord is the Supreme Brahman, he would certainly be able to adjust the awkward situation created by Lord Shiva. So the demon was greatly pacified by the sweet words of Lord Narayan in the form of a brahmachari, and at last he disclosed all that had happened in regard to the benediction offered by Lord Shiva. The Lord replied to the demon as follows. He replied to him as follows: "I myself cannot believe that Lord Shiva has in truth given you such a benediction. As far as I know, Lord Shiva is not in a sane mental condition. When he has a quarrel with his father-in-law, Daksha, when he had a quarrel-in-law with his father in Daksha, he was cursed to become a Pishacha ghost. Thus he has become the leader of the ghosts and hobgoblins. Therefore I cannot put any faith in his words. But if you still have faith in the words of Lord Shiva, my dear king of the demons, then why don't you make an experiment by putting your hand on your own head? If the benediction proves false, then you can at once kill this liar, Lord Shiva, so that in the future he will not dare give out false benedictions." In this way, by Lord Narayan's sweet words and by the expansions of his superior illusion, the demon became bewildered, and he actually forgot the power of Lord Shiva and his benediction. He was thus very easily persuaded to put his hand on his own head. As soon as the demon did that, his head cracked, as if struck by a thunderbolt, and he immediately died. The demigods from heaven showered flowers on Lord Narayan, praising him with shouts of "All glories!" and all thanksgiving. Whoa, that's a new one. And they offered their obeisances to the Lord. On the death of Vṛkāsura, all the denizens in the higher planetary systems, namely the demigods, the Pitris, Gandharvas, and the inhabitants of Janalok, showered flowers on the personality of Godhead. Thus Lord Vishnu, in the form of a brahmachari, released Lord Shiva from an impending danger and saved the whole situation. Lord Narayan then informed Lord Shiva that this demon Vṛkāsura was killed as a result of his own sinful activities. It was especially sinful and offensive because he wanted to experiment on his own master, Lord Shiva. Lord Narayan then told Lord Shiva, "My dear Lord, a person who commits an offense to great souls cannot continue to exist. He is vanquished by his own sinful activities, and this is certainly true of this demon, who has committed such an offensive act against you. Thus, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, who is transcendental to all material qualities, Lord Shiva was saved from being killed by a demon. Anyone who hears this history with faith and devotion is certainly liberated from material entanglement, as well as from the clutches of his enemies. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 88th chapter of Krishna, the deliverance of Lord Shiva." Yeah, so we will wrap up now and go somewhere else. But any final conclusions?
It's like what it said is. I just thought it was an archetypical story.
Yes. In what way?
Oh, that is kind of beyond maybe my ability to explain, but I will have to look at it. I just had a realization, but
yeah, but it's true.
This is he concluded actually by telling exactly how is that making offense with say in the sense
yeah, when it's yeah, your own, one doesn't stand a chance if one does that. That's definitely clear.
Yeah.
So yeah, so thank you. So we continue another day, God knows who, and now when, I mean, with another, Krishnabook session. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.